What are 3 reasons why your Facebook ads are not working? What's going on, everyone? Hayden here, coming back at you with a brand new video. And in this one, we're gonna be talking about a couple different points that, well, this is a topic that people want me to cover. So we're gonna be covering it. 3 main points, we might add on a 4th, I don't know, whatever comes to mind, but 3 main things that I have outlined inside here, we're gonna jump inside of my computer. These are 3 things that I just know for a fact it's not super practical down to, clicking specific buttons, but these are things where if you take like half a step back, it's kind of that middle layer that most people just overlook, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. I just know that because that's where I screwed up, honestly. And I got interrupted by a call. However, I do just want to cover these things. I think it's super important. This is some stuff that, yeah, people talk about it. Yeah, I've talked about it. We've made other Facebook videos, but this is all in one place. There's a few angles that I'm taking that I definitely have not talked about. And if you guys don't know the backstory already from kind of my standpoint, just with dropshipping specifically, I spent 4 full months, 100% every day trying to figure out Facebook ads and made 1 sale. That sale came in month 2. To be honest, I think it was more luck than anything. So I know a lot about why things don't work, to be honest. That's kind of my expertise, and that's why I'm taking that angle with this video. So with that being said, you guys, if you enjoyed, if you get value at any point throughout the video, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like down below and hit that nice looking subscribe button. But with that being said, let's jump inside of my computer and start going through this. Okay, before we start diving in depth, as I transition into this and start talking about this stuff, just out of pure curiosity, because I'm curious on where you guys are at, how many of you are doing Facebook ads? Let me know in the comments down below if you're doing just mostly influencers right now, or if you're trying to do Facebook ads, maybe you're doing it successfully, unsuccessfully. I'm just curious to kind of see that ratio between how many people are doing what. So the first thing I want to talk about, so just drop that in the comments, I'd appreciate you. The first thing I want to talk about, targeting. Obviously, this is kind of like the core concept, but the problem is, and you'll see this here in a second, it's not even just the targeting. You can have the best targeting, but if you come at it with the wrong product or the wrong structure for an offer, even if that product is something that that audience you're targeting would want, it's still not gonna work. So there has to be that congruency, but with targeting specifically, I see a lot of people who have a lot of different ways to do this, by the way. First of all, there's multiple ways to do Shopify. There's a few things you can do. Stacking. Oh, excuse me, let me put this in a parenthesis. This is what I mainly do. I stack 3 to 7 interests. Now, that's good, but the thing is, and I get asked this a couple different times by some people who kind of figure out and catch on, they're like, hey, well, if you're stacking 3 to 7 interests, how do you know which one works? Let's say it's a successful ad set, or at least somewhat. How do you know which one actually brought you those results? Simple answer is you don't. You have to do something called flex targeting. So for those of you who don't know what this is, that's where you're just taking one interest. So I don't usually lead off by taking one interest. Like, let's say there's 9 that I want to test. I don't throw 9 all in one ad set, but I don't go 9 different ad sets, 1 interest for each. I know some people who do that. They get crazy results. That's cool. What I do is if I had 9 for an example, I would take 4 inside of one ad set and 5 inside the other, run them, see which one kind of works, and from there I would just take the one that's working, so I don't have to spend all the money on the other ones, take the ones working, kind of build off of it, and if I get something that's break even, then I'm gonna go ahead and launch like smaller breakdown. It's like a tree branch, where it's a couple different ad sets with each interest just based on what was already working. So I'll kind of cut out some of the age ranges that didn't work, some of the countries if you're going broader on that. Maybe if I did both men and women, I'll do just women if that's what was kind of working better. Same thing with platform and device. So that's the structure I take. That's how I break it down. I break it down by interest on the second layer, not usually right off the bat. Now, obviously how to pick those interests and do that, we've made a ton of Facebook ad videos on this channel, and I'm probably gonna continue to do so. Obviously you guys are curious on that stuff. So picking the interest, that's a whole separate conversation. You have to go through and do the research. Just to give you some numbers, my sweet spot range that I like to stay inside of is 200K to about 1 mil, just total audience reach. That's always with a narrow. So those numbers, just to account so that you guys know, if you're trying to go through and set up your interest and you can't get it in that range, that's with a narrow, and I uncheck the box that says expand interest. So that's just how I structure that. Now, understanding your audience, that's a whole different thing. That goes back to picking the interest, You have to understand your audience. And I think a lot of people are like trying to say, oh yeah, I understand it. I think they like dogs. Great. That's my audience. That's not just your audience. It's more in depth. You have to know everything, what they like, what they don't like, their pet peeves, what they hate, what's gonna make them buy, what successful companies that do what you're trying to do are doing that's working. So I think a lot of that actually stems back to product research, just when it comes to e-commerce in general. So as you're doing this product research, that's gonna give you a sense of, well, hey, this product's working, why is it working? If someone's interested in dogs, are they buying more type of entertainment products for the dog, like toys? Or is it a leash where it's a little more boring, like a collar? Is it a style thing, like a costume for the dog? Is it something that's dog related but not for the dog? That means they're a little more selfish. I mean, naturally humans are selfish, but a necklace with a dog paw, a dog ring, whatever the case may be. There's different angles and approaches you have to take. That's just gonna help you understand your desired customer a lot better. So that's just kind of the end of targeting. You have to kind of narrow that down, but that's not the only piece. A lot of people are like, oh, Hayden, help me with my targeting, I'm not making sales. Oftentimes, sure, that can be a play, but that's not the core root of why it's not working. There's a lot of different variables. As I always say, Facebook has so many moving parts, so got to kind of narrow that down. Unaligned niche, this builds right off of that. If you have 7 interests stacked up for people who love dogs, right? You did your research, you understand it's a good audience that buys. Let's just say that theoretically, but that doesn't matter. Because if you're offering them a product that they're not interested in, even if they're qualified to buy and they like dogs, they're not buying your product because it doesn't align with that niche, that audience that you're actually advertising to. So you're wasting your money and you're wasting your time. And now, I just did want to throw this in. Again, it's not a hard statistic. This is just my experience. Roughly 9 out of 10 times, it's not even just the niche. It's the product. That product might not be good for that niche. Maybe the product itself 100% sucks and you should never do it. But maybe it's a good product like this glass right here that's very boring. Maybe this glass, some people want to buy it, but I'm not targeting those people. So there's an interference there, and that's why it's not making sales. That typically tends to be the case with what people are doing. And again, that's the whole thing with moving parts. It's a lot of parts and it all has to be congruent if you want it to work. But that does loop back, it loops back to what I said about product research. You have to have the right products for the right audience. There's research at every point. Nothing's random. I would be curious for, maybe I'll bring some other people on this channel at some point. I'd be curious just to get your guys' reaction, let's to say the least, on other people, because this stuff is not random. If you go to the most successful, I don't know who it is, the most successful dropshipper, I can pretty much, actually I can 110%, without a doubt, I'll bet you my car, guarantee you that what they're doing is not random. It involves research. There's a strategy behind it. They're not just throwing a product, a wolf mug, and saying, here, dog lovers, take this wolf mug. It's not like that. It's not how it works. So I know that you guys already understand that. A lot of you already understand that, and that's great. But there's definitely those few people that I can tell in the comments who don't. So targeting underlying niche, that's great. That's like kind of 2 of the main points. But now you have the audience, right? You got the right audience aligned with the right product. Let's say that. So they're qualified to buy. They're going to be interested in that. But how are you presenting that? How are you going to structure your offer? Is it a free plus shipping? Is it a retail? Is there a discount on it? Is it a buy one, get one free? Buy this, get that, buy 2, get 1, buy 3, get 20. It doesn't matter. How are you structuring that? And not even just the pricing. What's your ad copy look like? What does the picture you're using look like? What are the colors both in the actual, like the emojis we're using? If you guys have seen the other things I've made on ad copy for both Facebook and the caption on an Instagram shout out, the emojis we're using, we use 2. What are those looking like? The colors, that relates to the audience, male, female, and not even just on the ad copy itself, but over on the website. Do you have a red add to cart button? Or do you not have a red add to cart because you're trying to play into an overall color theme that might go to your logo? You have a green logo and a green theme. Maybe you don't want a red add to cart button. All of these things, you guys, there's so many variables I could throw at you. I'm gonna try and keep it a little more simple. How you're structuring that offer. Because even if you give someone who was looking for glassware for their kitchen and you give them this great glass that they want, if it's a bad deal and it's not structured in an appealing way, they're not gonna take it, obviously. You don't go to a car dealership and buy a car that's dirty as hell on the lot. I've seen people try to do that. When I was out buying my car, there was cars that were super dirty. I'm like, bro, you're gonna come show me this while it's dirty? It's not an appealing thing. So you're not gonna be jumping at the chance to buy something that doesn't exactly look the best. It's the same principle with drop shipping, okay? So that typically, that's just the overall structure, but a lot of people, in my opinion, fail when it comes to the call to action. So I'll give you an example here. I saw these little things, it was a video out on Facebook, and they were like moving their fingers around. It was light up bug rings that go on the finger, whatever. But they're call to action, or should I say call to actions. Period, plural, which is not the way you want to structure it. They said, tag 3 friends, like this post, follow our page, follow us on Instagram, and buy the damn product. That's what they said. I was like, bruh, you cannot be serious right now. You're not coming at me telling me to do 5 or 6 different things. You want to give them one clear, decisive call to action. That's it. Give them one It has to be super, super clear. I cannot stress that enough. There's one thing you want them to do, and that's get your product. Maybe you're running an engagement campaign. The only thing you want them to do is tag 3 friends. That's great. Don't distract them and don't make it take a lot of time. It has to be as simple of a process as possible. I can't stress that enough. Okay, otherwise the customer's gonna be like, well, screw this guy, he wants me to do 10 things. I'm not gonna do one of them. It's the paradox of choice. I have the book. Where's the book? There's stacks of books right here. The paradox of choice. Anyway, oh, I think I see it. It's this yellow one. Wait for it. It is. The Paradox of Choice. Good book. If people have choices to do a lot of things, especially when it comes to ad copy, they're not going to do any of them. So one clear, decisive call to action. I can't stress that enough. That's what we got to be focusing on. It's simple. That goes back to writing the ad copy. You can go watch the videos we've made on that. But these are kind of the 3 things that I see people typically mess up on, and it has to be overall congruent. That's just the whole point of the process, and it's more than just those 3 things. Those are a little more like half, I said take a half a step back, a little more general concepts. Those 3 things and every other piece of the process has to be congruent. It really does. So focus on congruence. Those are 3 reasons. Take a step back. If you're running Facebook ads, again, comment down below if you are or if you're not. I'm just kind of curious to see how my audience is split as of right now. But take a step back and look at what you're doing and see where that error might be happening. I know a lot of you guys are asking questions, throwing up a screenshot saying, look, here's my ad, should I continue it or not? I don't have enough information. There's too many variables. What type of ad? Is it, for a conversion, engagement, traffic? It doesn't matter. Is it a video? What niche, what product, what are you selling it at, the website, everything? I don't have enough information. I don't. But you can go figure that out for yourself by taking a step back and looking at a couple of these things and seeing what's going on. Just analyze it and break it down. Facebook ads is a complicated monster, has a lot of moving parts, and I have a feeling we're gonna make more videos on this, especially after this one. So if you have specific questions, problems, again, let me know if you're doing Facebook or not, I'm just curious. But if you have specific questions, things you want me to talk about with Facebook specifically, drop in the comments down below, give me some video ideas if there's something that you wanna see. But with that being said, transition into Facebook. If you're doing Instagram and it's working a little bit, transition, try and use that lookalike audience if you have 100 sales or more. It's not what this video is centered around, but Facebook, start learning it. Even if you're doing Instagram, if Instagram's not working at all, just focus on Instagram, okay? Get that working unless you're in a niche where there just aren't really influencers, then focus on Facebook. But if you can use Instagram to leverage Facebook on the back end to make it a lot easier, that's definitely the route you should do. That's how I structure things. That's what I teach. But anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did get any value at all, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like down below. Again, leave that comment of if you're doing Facebook ads or not. I'm just curious, as well as if you have any specific things you want to see on Facebook ads. And of course, we're about to hit 30,000 subs in the next few days. I'd appreciate it if you guys join the family by hitting that nice looking subscribe button. And I post every single day. So I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow on the next one. Peace.